Namaste. Hello, everyone. Well, okay, this is a deep one. I've been asked to do a reading on, quote unquote, the event that is supposed to be taking place. So I had to look up to see what the event is because I have not been connected with New Age communities, etc. I've been teaching my own path to self-realization. But I've been saying for years that everything is really polarizing. It's really going in a polarizing way. The dark is becoming darker. And in the readings, the dull crystals comes up, and usually the dull crystals means that they are dumbing down. You know, the darkness is dumbing down some people's consciousness. Those that are not going towards light are getting dumbed down, you know, is what it appears to be taking place. So as far as if there is going to be a radical shift coming up called the event, let's see what the cards are having to say on that, on, you know, what is happening. I'm going to just put it this way: what is happening in the world of consciousness on this planet? What is happening in the world of consciousness? Okay. You know, for myself, never look towards big planetary events. I've always taught the path to self-realization is an individual journey that each have to take. This is not to say there couldn't be some big event that could take place, but let's see if there is going to be, because so far I haven't seen there's a lot of I haven't seen that there are a lot that are actually in realization. I think there's still very few of us that are actually in that consciousness. And for this major event to take place, I would think there would have to be more in that reality in order to affect this change. Okay, but let's see what's out there. I could be wrong, you know. Sweetheart. So looking for the sweet message. Foe. Sweetheart, foe, and priest. Okay, well, that kind of is the message we're looking for. Those that are going towards the light, those are going towards darkness, and the priest, the teaching about the consciousness. Okay. So let's get some clarification on this and see what happens. Move this so it doesn't accidentally turn off. Let's see what we have here. I mean, it would be lovely to see a huge planetary shift. I would like it more than anyone. Okay, so the first one is out is 9 of Stones, you know, working towards planting and harvesting and growing these things, but this is pretty much still looks to be in the early stages of blossoming. Let's see what else we have in clarification here. Next is, okay, energy is rapidly moving forward in a direction. okay, for some new, asking about this new understanding, the beginning of this new understanding. That's just kind of, you know, when you get the ace, it's like just the starting formation of people starting to look into some ideations, getting kind of an inkling, a beginning, opening to look at something new. It's not yet fully developed, okay? But it's nice that it shows here that they're, you know, holding to that light. Holding to that light. There are some that are holding to that light, wanting to see that move forward. Let's see what else we have. Okay, justice. Of course, karma is always in play. Justice is, like I said, no matter what comes or goes, justice is in place. Okay? Okay. And there will come some end to a situation, a painful end for some, apparently. Painful end. Let me see if this is to be upright. Yeah, I think this is more of a karmic, you know, karmic thing rather than a overwhelming, huge change. I think it's more on an individual level. Okay, there will be some early celebrations of the start of a foundation in place of a start of it, you know. But again, personally, I feel like there's a very long way to go, because even those I meet that are, you know, it's supposed to be New Age community, they're supposed to have a lot of knowledge, their knowledge is very sadly lacking. Just absolutely just beginning. Most I meet are just barely beginning to start to open. It's still very, a lot of it is still very self-centered and not developed yet, but let's see what we have. Simplicity. Okay. Actually, yes, the genuine message is very simple. Very simple. Very simple, but it's not easy to attain. One has to be willing to let go. Next is, let's see, nature. Well, nature is, you know, all thing in its timing. You know, things have to be planted. The seed has to be planted. It has to be nourished. It has to be, the gardens have to be weeded. You know, all of these things, nature, in its timing, things come about. Let's see what else we have to go on. Again, like I said, I would be happy to see it. Really happy. But I've been so... I see a lot of people talking about realization, a lot of people talking about enlightenment, but it's a lot of talk. At this point, there's more talk than there is genuine shifts in consciousness. And just because one can learn to speak about it and say the words doesn't mean that there has been a shift in consciousness. It's not like a name it and claim it thing. It doesn't work that way. Okay, feeler, yeah. They're just starting to open up. Child of Cups, just starting. Infancy of this. It's the very infancy of it. Okay? It's not ready for a full-blown event. At least that's not how I see it yet. But let's continue on and let's see if there's something that comes that says there's going to be a huge shift. But again, my feeling is that it's just now starting. People's awareness is just now starting, and there's really a lot more to go. A lot more to go. Okay, next. Next is bleeding heart, grounding. Yeah, this is a big one. Grounding. So many people I see in a lot of the New Age movement are so ungrounded. They're just, you know, a lot of pie in the sky ideas that they're running around with, but they need to know how to get grounded so that they can go forward in their journey to realization. Okay? And also, I think the grounding also has to do with, and this just popped in, that it has to do also with that this has to be grounded. More people need to enter realization, be really in the consciousness of realization. And realization consciousness is like the Turiya Theta. Turiya Theta is when the mind is stilled. Okay? There's no more thoughts. No more thoughts. It's just that clarity of direct consciousness which is stilled. Which, when my students know, when there is an energetic connection, if they come to my presence, their mind will aid to still. Okay, so for this great consciousness shift to take place, people need to be able to get out of this revolving consciousness of mind spin and drama, which is constantly being projected outward. Okay, as long as mind is going, it's creating that reality which is being projected outwards. And realization, or that new dimension, is only entered when that mind is stilled. And when the mind is stilled, then there is that connection, that 100% with that divine is. Okay? Which blows out all the rest of this drama. Okay? So let's continue forward and see what this has to say. Oop, got a wrong card in here. Oop, you don't belong in here. You belong over with your pals over there. Okay. Had one trying to sneak in. Sneaky Pete. Okay. Next. Okay. Shadow. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of shadow stuff that still has to be confronted, and people have not confronted it. People have been, instead of seeing that shadow self and understanding what it is and what it's not, they've been more playing up to ego. I want to manifest. I want to do it according to what I want, you know, and not going into that surrender to that God self. Okay, they're more following the thing of, I want to manifest, I want to create the reality that I want, you know, rather than to be looking for that divine is, okay, which is that singular divine essence which is within all of humanity equally. Okay, so they're still in that separation, that mind of dualistic mindset. Okay, in order to go beyond the dualistic mindset, one has to understand and confront the shadow of ego. Okay, ego is a shadow. Ego is a shadow. Okay, you want to be a co-creator of God. God doesn't need your help. God doesn't need the shadow of ego out there trying to run things. Okay, God can run things quite well as it is. That God essence can run things without the shadow self of ego trying to project this spin. And that's what's still going on. You know, people are under confusion about what it means to have that God self, God connection. Okay, they're still wrapping it around ego. Okay, they're still wrapping it around ego because there are a lot of mistaken notions out there. A lot of mistaken notions about what it is. Okay. Now people are more in the midst of looking for, again, powers and not understanding the difference between powers of benefit and powers of ego structure. Okay, so let's go forward. Yeah, discipline. Yeah, you need to exert authority. There needs to be discipline in place to understand the way forward. Okay, time to take the bull by the horn. People need to look at the shadow self. They need to question that. Okay, that shadow self of ego identification, which continues to keep one in duality and this feeling of separation. Okay, and people aren't doing that. They're just sitting there saying, oh, I want the power, I want to be a co-creator of God, I'm God too, it's all God, I'm God, you know. But as long as that shadow self is there of this ego identification of form and body as a me, they're not going to get to realization. Okay. And again, in order for a big planetary shift to take place, there have to be enough people in the real, genuine consciousness of realization to offset the planet. Now, I don't know if we have enough people on the other side that are going to aid in that. Quite possibly. That might also be. Okay, blossoming. Yeah. Okay. Again, this is a time where it needs to blossom. It doesn't say it's fully done. It's blossoming. It's coming more forward. More light is coming forward. Okay? It has the potential to blossom and continue to take hold. But there is so much more work that needs to be done. Okay? There needs to be more genuine teachers and less of the just hot air being put out that really doesn't benefit anyone. It just keeps them in a different mental spin, which I call the game of spirituality, but it's not true spirituality. So let's go forward and see what else we have. Traveling. Okay. Yes, we are in the midst of the journey. Things are moving forward, slowly by slowly. Okay, things are moving forward. Let's see what else we have going as far as the event. Man, I wish I could say it's just right around the corner, you know, within the next few months of the next year or so, but it's really, I think it's just starting to take hold, and it's really, really a lot of work left to do, people. So much work left to do. So much still misunderstanding out there. So much more light needs to come in before people can really move forward and transcend, you know. So let's see what else we have here. Next is, okay, the moon. Yeah, still people are still barking mad at the moon, and they're following this. Okay, when this comes in, immediately comes in fear. They're still in fear mode. You know, it's still, I need to cover myself in light. I need to I need to protect myself. I need to do, you know, if you understand that God, that seed essence is God, what are you protecting yourself from? And the more you try to protect yourself with these bubbles, everything, the more you will find you need protection from. So there is, again, so much misunderstanding. People are still being ruled by fear. And these notions, just barking mad notions. Barking mad notions, you know, following the moon. And it's just, you know, the insanity of that needs to be addressed. Okay, for true understanding, true wisdom, true light. Okay. Which again comes back to grounding. It comes back to that blossoming of that light. Addressing the shadow self. Yeah. It's going to take, again, work. Here it is, the guy that's the wand. The energy's been put out there. And again, you need to also surrender. Okay? You need to surrender within to that. As you see, he's looking up. He's looking up. Looking to God, surrendering. He's not running there in ego, going forward, and I'm doing this. He's surrendered into that. Okay? Looking more for that energy and surrendering to that. Okay? Okay? It's that internal. One has to develop that internal and be able to connect with that higher self. I say higher self now, but it is something more than a higher self. Because when I don't like saying higher self, because when you say higher self, they think it's a persona. The higher self is not a persona. It's not a bigger you. It's not a bigger you. Okay? The higher self has no identification as a separate, limited, as a separate, limited being. Okay? It's spirit. It's always spirit. It's something that's all encompassing, yet it's separate and unique at the same time. It runs like a thread through all of creation, yet it's not touched by any of the happenings that take place. You know, there's nothing that can diminish it. There's nothing that can pollute it. There's nothing that can change that dynamic of what it is. And this is why when one enters realization, they understand why karma is in place and why it has to be in place just because of the divine nature of that is. Okay. So when one enters into that is, it blows out all these misconceptions of identification and lifetimes and all of this drama that one has done, and understanding how this gets projected out by mind. Okay. How mind holds it in place. Okay. And the hell realms are created by that drama. Okay. Again, one comes to this place of the kind of crossroads of energy that are there. And one has to, at this point, see that the world, he's kind of got that ball, the world in his hand, and he's holding it like this. Supplication. Supplication. Let me understand. Let me, in the night, like you see the night before. He's on bended knee, the supplication. It's not coming from, I'm God, I'm ego, I'm going to make it happen. It's supplication. Okay? It comes by grace. It doesn't come because of doership. Okay? Doesn't come, and it won't come by doership. Okay? It comes when one has gotten these false identifications out of the way. Okay? Then it will shift. Then it will all shift. But these false identifications, which are holding this type of the dualistic reality that we're in now, has to shift. Okay? And that comes when those identifications have ended. So again, here you have to let go of all this drama that you have to go towards that journey. That journey has to be taken. Okay? And while it's a planetary journey, it's also a solitary journey that each one takes within themselves. Okay? The, God or that divine essence is not forcing anyone anywhere. It doesn't come by force. Just as, as much as I would love to give this knowledge to everyone on the planet, they're not ready for it, they don't want it. And you can't force someone to take it. You can, like I said, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. You can offer it. Okay, you can offer it. But if the planet is not ready to hear it yet, they're not ready to imbibe it yet, they're still off chasing these notions of powers, okay, and ego aggrandizement, okay, and they're not ready at this point to do that journey. They're not ready at this point to surrender. They're not ready at this point for supplication. They'll still be driven by their fears. Okay, then there's a long traveling journey yet to go, okay? And this stuff is ready to blossom, but they have to have, again, discipline. They need to be able to look at the shadow self, understand what the shadow self is, and get grounding, rather than these fantasy notions they keep chasing. Okay, they have to open up to understand they're a child. They're in the very beginning processes of understanding. At this time, nature takes time to bloom and blossom. Okay, and they need to get back to simplicity. Simplicity. Okay. Yeah, right now they're still in moonbeam-filled waterfalls. Okay. In a lot of fantasy notions and dream states of things. That's not, when you're in fantasy notions and dream states of things, you are not grounded. You're not grounded, okay? Okay. People have to come to reality. Reality. When you get to really reality, then you get to realization. And realization, people think enlightenment, realization is something so that people can't reach on the planet. It's it's just coming to the ground of being. What one is absolutely at the center of divine is. What is that divine is that holds the planetary consciousness in place. Okay? Okay. Next is Camel Boy. Yeah. You have to take... It's time for small steps and asking for help, which is the opposite dynamic of people that say, I'm going to be creator of everything. Okay? It's a different shift. Yes, one attracts in their world what is that projection, but understand what it is. attracting what is beneficial versus that trying to be a magician. And a magician, understand, a magician is fakery. The magician is fakery. It's by deception. It's not the genuine knowledge, okay? It's not the genuine knowledge, okay? Okay, medicine bag, yeah. This is some medicine people aren't going to want to hear. This is why it's tough to give these kind of readings, because people want to hear it's going to magically happen and it's coming real soon and the whole planet's going to shift, okay? You know, it's in the medicine bag, and medicine is hard truth sometimes. That's where the treasure lies. The treasure lies in the hard truth. You have to understand that now's the time for taking small steps, asking for help to find the genuine way. Okay? And the genuine way to full planetary change is only going to happen when more individuals really enter into enlightenment or realization. I prefer realization to enlightenment, because people think, oh, if I see a light within, I'm enlightened. They have so many fake notions about it, okay? Realization, realizing what is actually in place from Maya. One then enters the play of God versus Maya, the illusion and delusion of ego. Play of God is realization. Illusion and delusion of ego is Maya. Okay? So, as far as the event happening that everybody's a buzz you say with and the Twitter with, okay? I'm sorry. It's not going to take place really soon. It's not going to be a big, huge cataclysmic event until there are more genuine, realized masters that can aid others to help to still their minds so that this shift can take place. Okay? So namaste. Thank you for asking this question. And I hope you're not too disappointed with the answer. But again, I have to be truthful with what's out there and what's being seen as it's being seen. Okay? Namaste.